here for another Rants video. Last week, I finished watching Gotham. It was one of those shows that I was on HBO and I was just scrolling through and I saw that it was on there and I thought, why not? This sounds interesting. And it was better than I was expecting. Like, with a lot of the DC shows, with how the Arrowverse went and some of the other stuff that has been in DC, I didn't have super high expectations for it, just because DC doesn't always come out with the greatest stuff. But it was actually really good. I actually really liked it. I liked the characters and how they did the villains, and I know they changed a few of the villains' backstories or tweaked them or whatever else that they fit with the story, but it worked. It was a very good story. I love how they did the characters. We love Enigma. Gosh, I love this Riddler. He's kind of great. And he's basically just straight up got split personalities. It's fun. Penguin, I do like Penguin. I will say in season 4, when he becomes mayor of Gotham City, I hated him I hate Mayor Penguin. I couldn't, Mayor Penguin kind of sucked as a character. Like, he didn't actually do anything bad. He was less of a villain during that time. His character was bleh. But anyway, Barbakine, I went back and forth whether I liked her or not. In the first season, I was very meh about her character. I didn't care too much, but as she developed with, like, just as her character became, like, crazy but not crazy, and the balance between being sane and, you know, her still being a criminal, like, that's who she believes she is deep down, is a criminal and a murderer, and coming to the balance so that now she is not just a psycho, but she's a criminal. She's a crime lord, but she's not just a crazy woman. So by the end of the series, I did actually like her character quite a bit. My least favorite part about this entire show was the fact that Jim Gordon ended up having either romantic interest or sexual tension or whatever with every single female character that was of any importance to the plot line. Because it starts out with Barbara, and it's like, that's fine. Yeah, we start out in the middle of the relationship, whatever, it breaks off. Lee Tompkins shows up. The first episode that she arrives, I'm like, oh, that's gonna be a thing. And then it was. And then all the crazy romantic drama, because we can't just give him a straightforward love story. No, it's Jim Gordon. He cares more about his job in Gotham City sometimes than his significant other. So, yay. All the drama that went into that relationship before they finally, in the last season, got married. And along the way, we pick up Valerie Vale, who was there for a good 5 episodes and then almost dies and says, peace out, Jim. Sophia Falcone, for a while, is their thing, sort of. Just every flippin' female protagonist, or just character in general, that has any bearing on the plot, besides Selena Kyle, he has some sort of romantic relationship with, and it got really old. I was like, just, dude, just forget that. You obviously cannot hold up a good relationship. You broke off 2 engagements. You almost got someone killed. Just, let's take a step back from romance for a minute here. Focus on what you're trying to fix Gotham's corruption. Let's focus on that for a bit. But no. there was always someone causing some sort of romantic drama. Whatever. I loved Selena Kyle and Bruce Wayne. Their characters were great. Bruce was awesome. Oh crap, I can't remember the actor's name. Comment if you remember it. Maybe I'll put it in a comment when I look it up later. But he did great. Like, he did awesome as, it's like, oh, I'm a 12-year-old. I watched my parents die, so now I am quickly growing up and forced to grow up way too fast and playing this super mature acting child, or at the same time, it's like, you're still a kid, you're still a teenager, you still do stupid stuff, but you're also this super mature, super grown-up kid because you were forced to. And they portray that super well. I love it. And just, he and Selena's friendship is great. Just their relationship in general. They play their romance off, I think, way better than any of the other romances in the show. Because it's on the side because Gordon is the focus of the show. So if they had treated Gordon's romances as kind of a back burner side plot, this doesn't necessarily need to be brought up all the time, that would have been great. Slow burn thing, great, because it also seems like, oh, I met this female character that's going to have some bearing on the plot. An episode, maybe 1 or 2 episodes later, we're doing it in one of our apartments. There's no slow burn. It's just immediate, and I have no time to invest in it, which I guess is the point of adding all the drama with Lee and blah, 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 blah. But that doesn't make me get invested in it. That just makes me think, why the heck? Why is this still happening? It's gonna be Endgame. We know you're gonna do it. Just do it and get it over with. So yeah, I'm not a romance person, and the drawn out on it, yeah, it was unnecessary, uncalled for, and I really didn't see any point to it. It's just like, it was there to draw in the piece of the audience that likes romantic drama. Anyway. Alfred, love Alfred. He's great in pretty much every thing that he is in. Every portrayal of Alfred is kind of great, and I love it. He's great. I love being overprotective dad who's just like, no, I don't want you to grow. I know what you're going. I see everything you're going through, and I see that you are being forced to grow up. I don't want you to have to grow up. I want to protect you, but I made a promise to your dad that I'd let you do your thing. Like, I am here to protect you. I am here to give you advice, but I am not going to force you to do anything that you do not want to do. And their relationship is amazing. I love it. This show has some great dynamics with, like, friendships and just relationships. Like, we have Harvey and Gordon. They're great. They have they get some drama in the later seasons, but it's like, it makes sense. It's not romantic drama, so I'm more okay with it. And honestly, Ed Nigma and Ed and Oswald have a great... I love the dynamic of their friendship, because it's two criminals who are just being horrible influences on each other. Like, there's occasions where both of them kind of get to a point where they're questioning their criminal lifestyle, and the other one comes in and is just like, yeah, no, I'm gonna help you be a better villain. We're gonna do crime. And the fact them encouraging each other to do these horrible things and commit these crimes was great. It was great, which is another reason I didn't like Mayor Penguin, because then they throw a wrench in that relationship for a while, which it was unnecessary, and it really didn't make a whole lot of sense why Penguin would have a crush on Ed. Maybe it's because he's just like, he's basically love-starved because he only had his mom and everyone else kind of hates him. But still, just because he shows you any measure of kindness, is even pretending it to be your friend, just, it didn't make sense to me. But anyway, it was very short-lived, and I was okay with that. And Oswald brought it up, and Riddler and Ed just went, "Nope, you're crazy," and walked out. And I'm like, yes! Yes, Riddler! Oh, it was great. Then we have Tabitha Gallivan, and Theo Gallivan, this villain in season 2. I actually really liked him. Just this very stoic, polite, conniving little douche. He's a little douchebag. But he basically staged a coup, and it was great. It was great. And then there was also a lot of raising the dead in this show, which I feel like everyone had plot armor. Like, no one could die because it was the origins of everything. So yeah, it's just, they had to bring in different stakes, which was great. They did do a pretty good job of bringing in different stakes. It's like, none of these characters are going to die, or they're going to be brought back to life, or whatever. But you gotta raise the stakes, at least. You gotta make people nervous yet, because this is still life or death situation. They don't know they're gonna survive. So that was good. They brought in new characters that they could kill off, and they did raise the stakes for the other characters that we knew were gonna live. Yeah. Anyway, Gallivan dies, comes back from the dead because Hugo Strange. We love Hugo Strange. But coming back without any memories, and then Hugo giving him this identity to becoming something else. That was a very interesting concept that they brought in. It's like, I brought people back from the dead, but there's a side effect. They either have no memories, or they have like little bits and pieces of mixed up memories, and that is why they cannot be controlled, why they're feral, why this process is not complete. But yeah, I enjoyed this series, and I'm trying to think what else happened. Season 5, the last season, the shortest season. I loved it. So Ra's al Ghul and the Joker, essentially, blow all the bridges. They cut Gotham City completely off from the mainland. It's just an island with little to no power. There are dark zones where the power never came back on, and then there are places where they found generators or whatever else to give themselves electricity. The resources are limited. Everyone except like the gangs and the GCPD left, and and the civilians that didn't have time to get out, and just the power struggle and this like gang wars that are happening, and they're fighting over resources, and they're fighting over territory, and the GCPD is struggling to regain control of the city so that it can reunify with the mainland. I loved it. It was great. It it was great. And of course it ends with Gordon, now you're the commissioner, and Bruce is gonna go off and train to protect the city and become Batman, and it's like we're all going off to do things to become these characters that you know from the main Batman storyline. And then the last episode skipping 10 years, and we're just like, okay, now we're going to officially set up and we're going to leave you on a cliffhanger. It's like, and then Batman. And it was great. I keep saying it's great but it is. I love this show. It has its flaws, obviously. Every show has its flaws. I mentioned all the unnecessary romantic drama, and were there any characters that I didn't like? Most of the characters that they brought in were enjoyable. They brought in Tetch, the Mad Hatter, the hypnotist, and they... My only impression of Mad Hatter is when he shows up in Teen Titans and is just British. And essentially, you don't even go into his hypnosis as much in Teen Titans. It's literally, he's basically just using the fact that he's British to do his evil plans, and it's absolutely ridiculous. So I love this version of Tetch. Just the hypnotism, his obsession with his sister, which is his sister, dies, and her blood drives people nuts, and just him getting driven crazy by her death so that he starts speaking in rhymes, and I enjoyed it so much. Yeah, I liked all the villains that they brought in. I liked how they set it up. I love how at the 10-year skip, they bring them in and it's like, okay, they haven't looked necessarily entirely accurate to the villains throughout this entire series. So now, 10-year skip, they look like the villain that they are. Penguin has gotten, bigger and has his monocle, and Riddler's got his like official Riddler suit, and I will say I prefer Joker's look before the 10-year skip written as opposed to after, because they drop him in the vat of acid, chemicals, blah blah blah, which is his origin in the original. And in this one, it's a little bit different. He's a psycho before that, and then the chemicals make him brain dead until he kind of comes out of it, and then he pretends to be a vegetable until Bruce comes back. But I prefer his look before he gets melty face from the acid, because it looks great. His look before he gets dunked in the acid is spot on. But, he'll develop into what we know as Joker as you go along, I'm sure. But anyway, yeah, this show was great. I don't have a whole lot to say about it. It's not like the best show ever, and so I need to rant about every little thing. And it's a good show, and so I do have things to say about it, but there's not a lot of bad stuff that I need to rant about either. So yeah, this is the shortest Nerd Rants video I've done in a while. But yeah, I really like this show. I highly recommend it. It's a very cool like origin story for all of the different for villains, for Gordon, for Bruce and Alfred, and it just adds a lot to the story. It changes some things to fit it into that storyline, but it actually it works, and I very much enjoyed it. But yeah, Drop your thoughts in the comments, drop your recommendations in the comments, and I'll see you all next time.